The once reliable lifeline of military aid that Ukraine has depended on is flickering as America's own defense capabilities face mounting pressure. Each new shipment of weapons to Kyiv, and now to the Middle East, raises alarms among Pentagon officials about the dangerous strain on the US military's ability to respond to potential conflicts, especially in the Pacific.
First, right now we have to strengthen Ukraine's position on the battlefield. And that's why today I'm proud to announce a new $2.4 billion package of security assistance. I've also directed the Pentagon to allocate all the remaining security assistance funding that has been appropriated to Ukraine, period, by the end of my term, which is January 20.
The Biden administration's recent decision to send an advanced missile defense system to Israel has ignited fears that Washington may soon be stretched too thin, casting uncertainty over the future of US support for Ukraine. Deploying the Terminal High Altitude Area Defense System, a crucial asset for defending against ballistic missiles, underscores the intensifying competition for America's limited military resources. Israel, facing a potential escalation with Iran, urgently required the system following a series of retaliatory strikes between the two nations. As reported by the New York Times, the US possesses only 7 high-demand THAAD batteries. With one dispatched to Israel and another allocated earlier this year to protect American troops in the region, the scarcity is becoming evident. With military demands surging across the Middle East, Eastern Europe, and Asia, top US defense officials are sounding alarms. General Randy George, the Army's Chief of Staff, lamented that everyone wants US Army Air Defense Forces. Meanwhile, Army Secretary Christine Wormuth cautioned that constant deployments are exhausting air defense crews, hampering personnel rotations and delaying upgrades of aging equipment. For Ukraine, this marks a pivotal moment as it enters its 3rd winter of conflict. The country urgently needs advanced air defense systems like the Patriot to fend off relentless Russian missile attacks targeting its power grid.
I had some discussions with ministers, and I understood that you will have a meeting with the Prime Minister. Yeah, there are some questions, and but for me, it's very important your support before the winter. It's again that I'm underlining this, before the winter. We count on your support, and I think it's the most important, the biggest priority.
However, the strain on America's military resources is palpable. Pentagon officials warn that providing additional systems could jeopardize US readiness for other potential crises, particularly in the Indo-Pacific, where China's growing assertiveness poses an increasing threat. President Biden has already denied Ukraine's request for long-range ATACMS missiles, capable of striking deep into Russian territory, citing the need to preserve stockpiles for possible conflicts in the Middle East and Asia. This refusal, coupled with readiness concerns, indicates that US military aid may be nearing its limits. Washington has long intended to pivot its focus toward Asia, but recurring crises in Europe and the Middle East have continually delayed this shift. Now, with American forces stretched thin across multiple regions, the Pentagon grapples with balancing its global commitments. General Charles Flynn, commander of US Army Pacific, has warned of a strategy of exhaustion, cautioning that the US risks being caught off guard in the Pacific if it continues to divert resources to other areas. Despite these challenges, the US remains the largest provider of aid to Ukraine, with billions of dollars allocated since Russia's invasion began in 2022. But as the war drags on, the critical question remains: how much longer Can the US sustain this level of support without compromising its own security?